So, on today's first video, I want to talk through a couple of topics that I'm excited to just unpack a little. Um, of course, it was inspired by watching an energy video. They're doing this really cool series where they interviewed 7 different people, diving into the depths of not only like their spiritual splinters or what holds them back, but what can compel them to come forward into like a universe sized life, universe sized desires, and like stepping into that. And I was just like, oh, I need to record because between energy and then a lot of folks, I don't know if they follow Jadina also on YouTube. Um, it helped me sit more in myself of like working to understand that sometimes things come up because I'm in transition. And I wanted to talk more a little bit about the messiness of it because sometimes I feel like I hop on Instagram and be like, look at the divine, everything is magic. Oh, the gold. um, and yeah, there is a lot of incredible things I've seen take place for me, especially over the past year and a half, because part of it was setting the intention to actually experience and see it and make note of it and bring me closer to like spiritual guides, spiritual wisdom, depths of self, all that. But excuse me. One of the things I wanted to transition through is talking about like this week and how visceral it felt sometimes in the contrast between like the toughness of not even work hasn't been tough. One of the miracles I stepped into was I'm on a space at work that is like a dream space for me. And so I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful for the people I'm surrounded with on that particular engagement because you could tell there are people with powerful hearts and brilliance and deep intuition. So it's really cool. But for some reason, even still with like the perfect circumstances at like work, I was still feeling resistant, heavy, exhausted, like distant, frustrated, even though it was not prompted by anyone at all. And that's what's fascinating. So it forced me to be like, okay, what's going on inside of here? If I'm like this level of frustration, what is happening in my heart, right? And I know another creator I follow, uh, she goes by Lauren, but Low on Instagram. One of the people I signed up as like a part of their Cosmic Baddie Academy, her Cosmic Baddie Academy, which has also given me the courage to do something like record this on the fly for the Substack, um, was one of her recommendations on entering into my highest timeline is seeing how I could connect spirit, intuition, and lightness into the spaces of work so that work is not just a place that is separate from my spiritual journey, but actually a part of it. And that part of the creation is that delivery at work too. And so still working through like melding those two worlds together, entering not into a place of anxiety. Um, but I had wanted to talk about the transition between like my future goals and what I'm currently doing is there's a moment that kind of like stayed with me this week. So I was taking transportation to and from doctor's office, public transportation. And when I got home from doctor's office, like taking the transportation back to my home, I'm looking around and seeing other people during rush hour. Now, granted, I got on the train um, a little bit after um, a little bit after 6 p.m. So the train wasn't ridiculously full as it would be 5 p.m. But there were still, some commuters. And I remember looking around and just seeing some folks walking on the train with a lot of physical pain, like because I'm with chronic illness. I'm one of those people that can not only feel physical pain, but I sight when others are carrying physical pain. And I saw like three different women come on the train and they felt heavy, like they're in a lot. They didn't look heavy, they looked fabulous, but they felt heavy and they felt like they were in pain and they felt like this was a slog all day. And then just to come in and sit down. And coming from a doctor's office where literally it's about, excuse me, how can we come up from like away from disease and away from pain? Like the whole point of the doctor's office is to bring into better health. At least that's the idea. Not sure if that's actually happening. And when I look around, like the people on the train who looked like their energy was completely drained and siphoned into even potential chronic flaring, like chronic illness flaring as a result. And it seeing these women and then seeing myself, it reminded me that part of the reason why I've been trying to better find sovereignty, especially when it comes to work or creation, or especially my life, was I was noticing my body and my life force draining too fast. As in, instead of being able to live for like estimated 4 or 5 more decades, it was giving 1 decade at best if I continued on the trajectory I was on. And so I record this because I pose this question as like part of societal consideration, societal change is, are we seeing the effects of work, employment, even in white collared knowledge working spaces? Like everything is like, can we deliver fast? Can we deliver fast? Can we come up with this product fast and get it out fast? But we're not talking about at what cost. We're not talking about the cost of people. We're not talking about like literally how decades people have lives have been ended so early because of the distress and the expectations and the difficulties at work. Um, Even when I just joined my new engagement at work, there was a story of a man who was not even yet 60 who passed away. And they're talking about it at work, which is beautiful. They're honoring his legacy. But then the expectation was still to continue the caliber of delivery where this person was kind of key to it, but now he's gone. Um, and it sits in stark contrast sometimes when stuff like that happens. So I hope this segment wasn't to be like a complaint, because we do need energy of creation, of purpose, of um, sometimes that sovereignty to solve problems, have uptime, as my therapist would say, like having uptime. It is time of productivity that there's power to it. But I pose as like we enter into a new world order, new societal shifts. How are we setting things up for the creation of things, including like tech things or physical things or innovation, which is powerful? How are we able to do these levels of creation without detriment of others? Because even the advent of AI isn't mitigating the pressures of work, right? Like I'm still seeing these people enter on the train downtrodden and weary. So something to think about. Um, I'm going to pause on this because what I'll do is another video on another segment I wanted to talk through. But I just wanted to do this recording to send encouragement to especially so many folks who are now probably coming online consciously, but then are looking around the world in front of them and being like, I'm not sure if I'm aligned with the space. How the call to action may be to pour some of that awakening into that very space. Like pour some of that awakening, some of that deeper understanding, and even some of that divine guidance and help into the current space. Because the call is to be happy now. Call into your joy now as much as you can and as honestly and authentically as you can. Because we're not going to be like, I'm joy, even though I'm falling apart on the inside. None of that. But more sincerely finding ways to what is going well, the deepening of self, and bringing that deepening of self to current space. Excuse me. Um, is the encouragement, and it's something I'm trying, and it's something I'm admitting is not easy. Even now, I call it my stress asthma cough. She's back right now. I don't like it. So that tells me I'm not spending enough time in my body and myself. Some rest, some tea, honey, which is what I'm going to do after I stop recording. So this is just one version of a thread-worthy thought. I'm hoping y'all enjoy, and get in the comments, as Brennan Lee Mulligan would say. Get in the comments. Talk about, like, how are you knowing that you may not stay at work forever, but knowing that even if you don't stay at work forever, what are you transitioning to instead? What are you doing to bring that divinity into your current space now? Because it is possible. How can you move with more intention, connect with the people around you with like actual intentional relationship, seeing the divinity in the humanity in front of you, especially in employment spaces, right? Because we're all humans filled with our divinity. Some are just more tapped into it than others. But when we're tapped into our divinity, we're able to see the divinity in others much faster, maybe. And maybe that makes work a little bit better. Maybe that's like less people downtrodden on the train. So, uh, thank you for listening to my threadworthy thought. And yeah, may there be more to come.